Big Brother's Mike Boogie arrested again. And this time it involves Dr. Will and more stories we're going to talk about today. So smash that like. Hopefully, you're wearing something very comfy and grab a beverage and let's get started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want. Cause your heart's made of gold. But don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Stand-up comedian and pop culture vulture Joleen Lunzer here for another no offense, all offense.
Who is she? Who is she? Who is she? Where did you find her?
Well, I just told you, stand-up comedian and pop culture vulture Joleen Lunzer for No Offense, All Offense, which is a show we do where we cover trending news topics, reality TV, pop culture news, things we hate to love, things we love to hate. You know the drill. I'm very opinionated on this show, but that doesn't mean that you can't have your own opinion. Even if it's different than mine, you're welcome to sound off in the live chat, and we can just respectfully agree to disagree like the very calm, cool, and collected Tamra Judge.
That's my opinion!
From the Real Housewives of Orange County. Remember, everything I say is true except for the parts that are false. Everything I'm about to say is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. So don't sue me.
Allegedly.
It's just allegedly, you guys. So good to see you here in the live chat. Hello, everyone in the live chat. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, sorry, I've been putting out more edited videos. Yesterday, I just wasn't feeling well. Today, I took Dave Dog to the vet again, and he's good. He's fine. He's cool. He got his nails trimmed. He just had such long nails and wouldn't let us trim them, so he was, scratching his face, and we have him on a medication. He's doing great, and he was like a champ there. If you want to support the channel further than liking or subscribing, please, though, like the video. It's a free way to support the channel. I appreciate it so much. And subscribe if you haven't already. You can also do what Ken Tompkins did here and send a super chat while we're live, and I'll highlight your comments. Otherwise, you can consider joining my YouTube membership or one of my tiers on Patreon if you are looking for some bonus content. Now, I don't know if Steven's in the chat and Jamie B, but if you are, let me know, because I think we might be doing a members only, a little messy, fun members only, maybe tomorrow. Either tomorrow or Friday, because it's already Wednesday. It's crazy. But thank you, Ken, for the first super chat of the live. Ken says, ooh, love to see breaking news about a Boogie arrest, right? Well, we just had a Boogie arrested for stealing alcohol and energy drinks at a valley, in I think it was Burbank, California, at a CVS. He went and tried at one store, and then they had some of the employees confronted him, allegedly, and he went back in the store and put the items back on the ground. However, the employees still called the police, and the police had said that a lot of the people that do this and go in and try to rob CVS, different CVS stores, they tend to then go hit up another CVS store. So they went to the next CVS store, the police, to go find him. And sure enough, he was there. His car was in the parking lot, and he was, I think, attempting to steal again. And just a mess. And Mike Boogie, we know he's had issues with money. He's had issues. I've done so many videos on this guy. It's like, when are you going to get better, dude? He's had issues with money, bankruptcy, lawsuit things. He has had DUIs, just a lot for Mike Boogie. So after the recent arrest, the CVS arrest, we really hadn't heard from Mike Boogie too much since Dr. Will was granted a restraining order against Mike Boogie. And that was a few years ago now. And because Mike had been allegedly stalking Dr. Will's family, and it was super scary. And I did a video about that at the time. I myself have had some run-ins with who me and the LAPD possibly believe is Mike Boogie, his online profile. Someone with his name came in, and as I was covering stories for him, some of you who are here for a long time know that he then began to dox me and make threats. An online Mike Boogie, which, okay. He never came out and said it was me, but I think it was him, where he put my address down in the comment section and said, "You want to play, little girl?" And I was like, I don't. That doesn't seem like a fun game. I've been stalked before. 0 stars, don't recommend. I didn't like it. So, not really my thing. And this was all just from covering his, all of his crimes, all of his cases and things. And now, this guy is just constantly breaking the law. And obviously, us Big Brother fans, we know Mike Boogie from as a 3-time Big Brother player. We know him as the winner of BB7 All Stars and a part of one of the most iconic alliances in Big Brother history, Chilltown, with Dr. Will, who became his frenemy after Dr. Will's life went in a certain trajectory of him being like a dermatologist, having a successful business. Now he's on Deal or No Deal Island, but he hadn't really done reality TV in a while. And allegedly, Mike Boogie wanted him to do the Amazing Race, and Dr. Will didn't do it. And that is allegedly what sparked Boogie to start harassing Dr. Will, his family, his business, his friends, his children. Okay. So TMZ last night posted a story. Shout out to Steven, sent this to me because I thought he was going to maybe just, give it a rest for a minute. I mean, he just was arrested. I mean, how much attention from the Popo do you need? You guys, give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can see the story that I am sharing. But Mike Boogie, as of yesterday, arrested again because he violated the protective order that Dr. Will has against him. I have to imagine that Dr. Will is just very tired. And also, this is scary. It's scary, you guys. Okay, so TMZ is saying more legal issues for former Big Brother winner Mike Boogie, Malin, whatever the hell his last name is. We just call him Mike Boogie. He just got busted for the second time in 3 months. And this one involved another Big Brother winner. We know that to be Dr. Will. TMZ has learned Mike was arrested and thrown in jail Friday after a bench warrant was issued when he was a no-show at court. So there's a bench warrant against him. He had a court date on Friday, and he did not show up. We're told the hearing was in regards to Mike recently violating the terms of a restraining order by his former BB co-star, Will Kirby, a.k.a. Dr. Will, that he has against him, with Boogie disobeying the order by directly contacting Dr. Will's wife. That it's one thing to stalk your friend. But as a dude, it's a whole nother thing to stalk your friend's wife and contact. Now, Dr. Will has a restraining order for his entire family, I believe for his business, or for quite a few people in his family, and for his business. And he has this restraining order against Mike Boogie. So Mike Boogie, I have to just speculating here, since, it seems as though Mike Boogie, for a time, and probably still, wanted nothing more than to get back on reality television when Dr. Will wouldn't do The Amazing Race. Now he's seen Dr. Will make a cameo in The Traitors, which is an Emmy award-winning reality show, gaming reality show that we love. And this past season of Deal or No Deal Island. I bet you Mike Boogie feels some type of way. And since it's pretty clear he is not, healthy, he is not sound of mind, brain, and possibly dealing with some addiction issues, this could have sparked Mike Boogie to possibly reach out. I'm trying to gauge why now? Why now? As we reported, TMZ says Mike Boogie was found guilty of felony stalking his former BB buddy way back in 2021, which seems not that long ago, but it is actually a while ago. After pleading no contest, Boogie was sentenced to 2 years probation. Kirby got a restraining order against Mike Boogie in 2019 after the two were is that correct? I don't think it was 2019. I think it was after that. because my video definitely was not, it was during the Panakuchen, I thought. But maybe I'll have to rewatch my video and see. Kirby got a restraining order against Mike Boogie after the two were tapped to go on another reality show as a duo. When Kirby declined, it meant Mike Boogie could not participate. So The Amazing Race was like, unless you have Dr. Will, like, no, we don't want you. We don't want you with anybody else. It's you and Dr. Will, Chilltown represented on The Amazing Race, or nothing. So this is allegedly when he began the threats to Dr. Will and his family. We're told Mike's bail is set at $20,000 and his next court date is March 20th. I'm curious to know if he is going to have the bail since he's stealing alcohol and energy drinks from CVS pharmacies, but he could have a bail bondsman and then just, pay a percentage of that, I guess. I'm not really privy to how the bail bondsmen work, but I do think you just pay a percentage. So his next court date is March 20th. So in 8 days, will he show up for court? How long? Will he still be in jail then? Will he be able to post bail? I don't know. Kirby's attorney, Sam, so Dr. Will's attorney, Sam, tells TMZ protective orders exist for a reason, and no one is above the law. We expect full accountability for this violation. The arrest comes on the heels of Boogie's, as we talked about, January bust for shoplifting from CVS, which is très embarrassing. And let's see if we can. So obviously every story about Mike Boogie, as you can see here, Big Brother star Mike Boogie on the hook for $800,000. I remember that all too well. Big Brother star Mike Boogie arrest warrant issued. Big Brother champ Mike Boogie drowning in debt. Big Brother champ Mike Boogie hit with a $10.5 million judgment. I mean, just no good story for him out there. Oh my God. In the comments, people are like, what's he hooked on? Best guy out there. Nicest guy too. And then we do know that, Mike Boogie during the Panakuchen and when Big Brother was the All-Star season was happening and the speculation around that, he started to do, or I think he had already been doing cameos, and his cameos were really problematic as well. Racist, weird ramblings, bragging. It's just, this guy he's not doing okay at all. Big Brother Bri, good to see you. Big Brother Bri, thank you for the super chat. Big Brother Bri says, hi, Jolene, sad about this Boogie stuff. He could have been better. Can't understand this. That's the thing. Mike Boogie, looking back, looking back at his persona and how he was on Big Brother and his gameplay, for the time, it worked. But it's a new time. And I think Mike Boogie saw that, and he would never have been able to pivot into current times. He didn't really progress out of that mindset. And the mindset I'm talking about, if anyone watched him in BB7, is he was, the way he talked to the other women, the way he was in a showman's with Erica and spoke about her and kind of used her. Mike Boogie never struck me as the type, and when he was on the show, that really respected women in general. It was like bros, and where Dr. Will, I feel like he has his bro moments too, but I do feel as though he has been able to, grow older with wisdom and appreciation for women and has a wife and children. And where Mike Boogie, I believe, has a child, but I don't know. I don't regarding his relationships, I don't think the guy was ever married, but he could have been. But he always, even when he came back for BB14, remember Janelle was like, he's such a loser. He just was a guy that wanted to play with the boys and talk down to the women, and was able to, in my opinion, date very attractive women. And in the Big Brother world, a very attractive woman being Erica from Big Brother, because of his association with Dr. Will and Chilltown, which made them like cool at the time. Then Mike Boogie went on to invest and open a lot of businesses and restaurants in Los Angeles. I don't know the status of all of these restaurants, but one of his clubs that he was either an owner in, investor in, was I think it was Ledoux, which was shown on the hills, and that was a really big club in the early 2000s. And then also he had the Geisha House, which was a sushi restaurant on Hollywood Boulevard. And I remember, before I even lived in Los Angeles, going to these places because they were known to be hotspots. And I thought, oh, this is so cool. And I was in my early 20s. And also being a Big Brother fan, I was like, oh, it has association with Dr. Will and Mike Boogie. But then a lot of issues started to arise regarding the finances and business practices and things like that. And it seems like ever since then, downhill. Now, I don't know if he has a thirst for the Coca-Cola Classic like Jax Taylor. I don't know. But something's going on, Mike Boogie. But to get back to your point, a Big Brother Bri, I feel like Mike Boogie, with some personal work, possibly could have had still been getting gigs, because Big Brother had him back 3 times. He was on 3 seasons of Big Brother. That's a big deal. People who are on 3 seasons of Big Brother, that means they really like you. I think there was probably opportunity for him in the future, obviously, had he kind of matured and grown, but it looks as though he chose more of like the celebrity party direction and whatever happened with these businesses. So, but now it's just a sad, sad tale of a has-been, sort of, But he'll probably say, I'd rather be a has-been than a never was. But unfortunately, I think the truth probably hit him. This is just my opinion, that he needed Dr. Will, that it was never just Mike Boogie. He was never going to be good enough in any of these spaces without the Chilltown package. Where Dr. Will's a breakout star. So Dr. Will can exist in this world and in this celebrity and within pop culture just as Dr. Will. Where Mike Boogie was more of the sidekick. And I don't think he understood that until later, until after BB14, and when he wanted these other opportunities and didn't get them because Dr. Will wasn't willing to do it with him. That's just my interpretation of it. Artist Fleetwood, thank you so much for the super chat. Artist says, hello, Jolene, can't believe Mike Boogie can't get it together. How old is he? Well, I mean, obviously, I don't even have to question whether he respects women, because obviously he doesn't. I mean, look at how we've, seen through the years, his behavior, what he's said, the racist remarks he said in his cameos, and how now he is contacting Dr. Will's wife. Why would you be contacting someone who has said they want nothing to do with you, filed a restraining order, someone who you have been charged with felony stalking against? Why would you contact his wife? That's really scary. Super, super scary. Mike Boogie has got to be in his 50s. I don't even know if it's said here, but let me look it up. But he's got to be 50 something, right, guys? I think so. Let's see, Mike Boogie. But the fact that he's now violated his restraining order, I don't know what, when he does go to court for this, what the consequences of that are, because just from his first, felony stalking charge, he got 2 years probation. Well, obviously, I don't think the judge is going to go add more probation. I would suffice to say we're probably looking at some jail time. All right, because this guy is now shoplifting, multiple DUIs, violating his restraining order. That's got to be jail, right? That's got to be some prison. Sugar Spun Sister says he's 54. Yeah, I think that is his age. Christina Byington says, your hair has been looking absolutely fabulous. Thank you, Christina. I choose to believe it's the Kenra. It's the hair product you sent me. You guys, it definitely is. By the way, anyone who has sent me anything recently, my P.O. box number has changed. They changed my P.O. box number, and it is in the description of this video. It went from 1138 to 502. So if anyone was or did send anything, or if anything was sent back to you, apologies. The post office has changed my P.O. box. So Lazy Buddhist says, I don't have great hope for this latest setback will cause him to change it. No, I mean, he hasn't changed. After all of these charges, all of these arrests, it seems like it's only gotten worse. And when I tell you guys that the first restraining order or ordeal that Dr. Will and his family and business had to go through was scary, that's like, it was terrifying. The lengths at which Mike Boogie was allegedly reaching out to family members, to children, pictures of the children, possibly knowing where the children go to school, what was pictures of weapons. I mean, when I first was covering this, Dr. Will and his family, they were so terrified of this man and what he was going to do that there was a time where they were all like hiding in their home in one room because they feared that this man was going to come and kill them. So this isn't just like, I'm contacting you, I'm doing this, I maybe made one threat. This is, yes, Kira, felony stalking means I think he was outside the kids' schools. Or pictures of that. Like I'm so shocked that he didn't do jail time. Pictures of weapons. He had to, I believe, give up his GUNs and such. So AJ says, I missed it. Why is he so obsessed? I think Mike Boogie, it looks like he is dealing with some very serious addiction issues. Maybe some mental health things, a lot of regret and resentment toward Dr. Will, and Dr. Will not being or pulling out of being on The Amazing Race with him a while back. So it's bad. Let me see. Let's see. Restraining order. Let me do 2020 because I think that's what year it was, 2020 or 2021. Yeah, in April 2021, Mike Boogie appeared in court due to Will's stalking allegations. Boogie was sentenced to a 2-year probation period. He was forced to spend, and this is on IMDb. Not good. Okay, so he was, all right. Former co-star, okay, yeah. Will Kirby sentenced to a probation period of 2 years. Boogie and Will first met on Big Brother 2. We know that, forming the iconic alliance Chilltown. Theirs was a first ever true alliance in Big Brother history. Ultimately, Will won season 2, and then Boogie later went on to win the first All-Star season 7. Boogie initially pleaded not guilty to the stalking charges he faced. Then in November 2020, Boogie was arrested on DUI charges in Las Vegas, which added to his existing legal woes. In April 2021, Boogie appeared in court due to Will's stalking allegations. Boogie was sentenced to a 2-year probation period, and he was forced, let's see. Oops. Okay, he was forced to spend 3 days in the LA County Jail. Well, that's not enough time. This man needs some like treatment. He needs a longer jail sentence. He needs bigger consequences, obviously. He also had to pay a fine and go to rehab. It's time to talk about what happened before his arrest. Okay, so Screen Rant was doing a story on this. Let me take a look at that. Okay, so the stalking allegations involving Mike Boogie started in September 2019, because I remember covering this during the Panakuchen, when Will, who later appeared on The Traitors, was granted a restraining order against his Chilltown ally and former friend. This was shocking news, as Boogie and Will had always been a dynamic duo. They really were like friends. They had this, obviously this great alliance. Chilltown, the first, the most recognizable at the time alliance, like the first, like they were saying, alliance that really worked. and they had their little bring, they had their DR moments, and they were getting a lot of attention for that. So, as the story goes, Boogie allegedly harassed Will, wanting him to do another reality shows with him. He wanted to do it as a duo because I think Mike Boogie probably, like I said, figured out that he needed Dr. Will if he wanted to continue to be on these type of shows. He wasn't like a Janelle from Big Brother, because they're out of the same era of Big Brother, where Janelle can go on shows by herself. Even though she and Kaser are kind of like an iconic duo, they were a part of an alliance through the years when they first appeared on BB6, but they weren't sold as a package deal, where I feel like Dr. Will could always be sold as like a singular package, but Mike Boogie was always, he was attached to Dr. Will. Dr. Will was the true star in that little duo. So he could go do whatever he wanted. He also was, arguably more successful and educated in real life, just being a doctor, even though Mike Boogie was, it seemed at the time when he was just coming out of like BB7 and even before BB7, that he was making these big business deals in restaurants and clubs and bars and things like that. But ultimately, that success didn't seem to be able to carry on. There became a lot of lawsuits and accusations about his business practices and owing people money and this and that, allegedly. Where Dr. Will, I could see him being a doctor and having his own practice and stuff, not wanting to be associated with any kind of like bad business type shit when it comes to bars and restaurants. So he was bugging Dr. Will to do another show, details regarding the case, and Dr. Will would not do Amazing Race, or pulled out of Amazing Race with him, and that made him very upset, and he started contacting Dr. Will like incessantly over not doing the show. And it was really the deterioration of their friendship. Now, maybe if Dr. Will ever talks about it publicly, maybe there's something that happened before that. Maybe he saw, maybe the reason he didn't do the show is because he saw certain things going on in Mike Boogie's life that didn't align with what he wanted in the future. Maybe he saw problems on the horizon, or maybe there were other things. But ultimately, that looks like that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, where Mike Boogie just went off the rails, harassing him, his family, his business. So, like I said, initially he pleaded not guilty to the stalking allegations, but later he withdrew his plea, choosing a no contest instead. By changing his plea, he immediately waived his right to a trial. And as per his no contest plea, which denoted guilt, Boogie was required to maintain his approved residence. As well, he had to make his probation officer aware of all his personal information. According to the sentencing, after his arrest and release, Boogie also needs to make restitution to Will. So there was a restitution element to this as well. Boogie had to complete 160 hours of community service and was banned from owning or possessing firearms. So any guns that were currently in his possession at the time, he had to relinquish those as well. And as well as, like I said, any future ownership of the GUNs. Dr. Will was taken aback by Boogie's actions, obviously. I mean, he was terrified. And his fear for his and his family's safety led him to take legal precautions, which seemed to be necessary. Dr. Will has refrained from sharing any personal details with the public, but his attorney's comments indicate that the legal action was imperative. Both Dr. Will and his attorney were happy with the outcome of the case, as per an interview in Us Weekly that his attorney did, where he said, on behalf of Dr. Will Kirby, we are grateful to the criminal justice system for holding Mr. Malin accountable for his actions. He goes on to say that there's no shame in seeking legal help, because I'm sure that was weird to be like, I have to take a restraining order against my friend. Let's see. And Kirby and his family stayed out of the spotlight during this troubling time. Despite the trauma that Boogie put Kirby through, Dr. Will has yet to make any public statement. I don't think he's ever made a public statement regarding this, the specifications of the stalking actions, but there were police reports that became available that people were sharing and that I included in a video. I think it was police reports where there was details of the extent Mike Boogie was going to and how scared Dr. Will and his family were, because he was so unpredictable of what this man was going to do, what he was willing to do. It almost was like the guy that Dr. Will knew all those years ago, who was Mike Boogie in Chilltown, was no more. And this was a man that he did not recognize or know any longer. So Dr. Will was also granted an additional, like this was so serious that he was granted an additional 10-year restraining order that prevents Boogie from being near Dr. Will's family and ensuring their safety for years to come. Well, as we now know from his latest arrest, and after a bench warrant was put out and he missed court, he broke that restraining order and contacted Dr. Will's wife. So scary, scary, scary. Joseph said that would explain why Dr. Will hasn't hardly done any media since he was eliminated from Dondi. That's a good point. I did see him. He did an interview with Boston Rob, I think, after his elimination, because Boston Rob is hosting like the Dondi Deal or No Deal Island after show, I think. So I saw that he did an interview over there. But this is just, when someone is stalked and when someone has to constantly be, you feel like you have to be on the lookout. And you're tangled up in the justice system trying to get justice. It's exhausting. It's tiring. It can take, the joy of life away from you. And having someone out there who is so unhinged for what appears to be such a ridiculous reason is really life-changing and scary, and all the bad stuff. It's terrifying, like April said. Yeah, super frightening. I feel for Dr. Will. And I got like a little taste of that when I was first covering all this, like I said, of what he was allegedly, because I'll say allegedly because he never came out and admitted it was him, was doing just for me, reporting on his public crimes. It was all public information. And it appeared that he just became unhinged on social media as well. And so just the little bit that I had to, talk to LAPD and stuff regarding this was so weird to me, because I'm like, what? Why does this guy care? What? Don't drink and drive. Don't stalk people. Then people wouldn't cover these sort of things. Yeah, so that was a weird time, and hopefully that stays in the past. But good. When I did see this story, like a part of like me is like, oh God, like you go back to that time where you're just like gal on YouTube, and one of the guys you watched on your favorite television show, one of your favorite television shows for years, is threatening you allegedly. And you're like, I'm sorry, what? I don't know if they have if they have the police reports available or his. I assume there are mug shots. I haven't seen anybody post them, nor have I really looked too hard for them, but every major publication is talking about it. And he is 54 years old, because even People magazine has a story about this. And they also had the story about his arrest before that. And so right now he's currently being held in the Los Angeles County Jail. And so he's been there since March 7th, and it is now the 12th. So we will see. I guess that's how you would put it. Yeah, you're like re-triggered, like, oof. That was so weird. That was the weirdest time. Justice says, yeah, Boston Rob does the after show outside of the Peacock after show. Dr. Will has, he's laid low. The justice system has worked well for Dr. Will. There's no shame. No, there's no shame at all in getting help. But I'm sure it's like never something it's so much to go through, and the justice system isn't necessarily swift. It's not Taylor Swift, you guys. The archive says, especially having kids is like so scary. When I was reading through the allegations of what Mike Boogie had done before Dr. Will was granted the additional 10 years and involving his children and family members and business associates, I mean, someone like that can ruin your entire life. So, horrible, horrible, horrible. So, it appears, People magazine, as of today, he's still being held. They're saying so. He did not post the bail for $20,000. I don't know Mike Boogie's personal situation, if he has anyone in his life who would even bail him out at this point. Because, after having this many run-ins with the law, this many arrests for some pretty major stuff, it might be a situation where, people who maybe once would have helped him have now parted ways with him. I'm not sure. Beach says it's similar to Jodie Foster's stalker. And I think that was just a particular mental illness, but drugs obviously would exacerbate that. Yeah, I remember seeing Drew Barrymore. She was at some event speaking, and she's had a stalker for years. And there's a video that goes around pretty frequently of him coming in going, Drew Barrymore, I need to talk to you, and gets dangerously close to the stage of where she's at. So being stalked is, so terrifying. Kathleen says, I feel so bad for the kids, especially how they must be affected. Yeah, because, you have to, I assume, they know what's going on. And you have to inform them of what's going on just in case this guy tries to make contact with them or does somehow get into their school or their sporting events. Because I think there was like a issue with Dr. Will's kids' school, and also maybe like a sporting event and some like pictures that were being sent, as well as pictures of weapons. So April, good question. April says, how can you ever rest peacefully again after that? I don't know. That would keep me up at night. The fact that Dr. Will has remained so composed and has went on to obviously have a successful business, successful family, and recently appear on Deal or No Deal Island. It's pretty amazing, because that's a whole lot of stress. Does Boogie have any siblings? I don't know. I have never heard. He could. I don't know a ton about his personal life. I believe he had a child. I don't know how old that child is now, but I do believe that he might have one child. For sure one, maybe more. But yeah, I don't know. Kira said, I'd be scared to talk to the media if I was Dr. Will. That man is unhinged. Yes, which, in a lot of ways is why you never see Dr. Will talking to the media. You just see him talking through his attorney, which I think is the smartest thing that he could do. But it is crazy how many crazies have come out of Big Brother and shows like this. It is disturbing. Otter said, who would have guessed as they bounced around in the diary room couch? No, because at the time it looked like, Mike Boogie, Dr. Will, they were young. They had like their whole lives ahead of them. And then it seems as though things didn't work out the way Mike Boogie had hoped and had worked out for Dr. Will. And then it became an obsession for Mike Boogie to, go after Dr. Will. And through, like I said, his addictions and DUIs and stuff, that couldn't have helped. And then him just getting arrested for stealing liquor and energy drinks from CVS. That's not a good look for a man who once won a very popular television show and won, and I think that was 2006, was Big Brother 7, and won $500,000. Wins $500,000 and is still, and it turns out this way. It's almost like those documentaries you see, or those E used to do, like documentary type episodes about people who win the lottery. And once they win the lottery, their life is worse than they could have ever imagined. Because a lot of times that amount of money that quickly to someone who's never had that amount of money can be very dangerous. It's like a drug, and it can bring all kinds of problems into your life. And then with money mismanagement and the people that come around you, when you have that kind of money, it can throw your whole world upside down. So it's almost better. This is what I'm telling myself. It's just better that I've never won the lottery or never just come into a bunch of money, because it would just ruin my life. So that's the story that I tell my, yes, Amy, it was like those Eat Your Hollywood Stories. And they had I think they had one or two that were dedicated just to lottery winners. And so many of those people end up dead, bankrupt, worse off than they were before. I mean, the stories are crazy. Jay says, to be fair, it does take a bit of an amount of craziness to go on Big Brother. Yes. I think to want to be in entertainment or want to be on television, period, it takes a little bit of cuckoo bananas to do that. Kira says, I didn't know he was stealing liquor and energy drinks. Yeah. I don't even know if it was Red Bull. It could have been like a knockoff. Or he had been stealing Monsters. I'm not sure. April says, I'm glad he's getting a small amount of justice, but the PTSD from that is forever. It really is. Mm-hmm. Oh, Will and his wife divorced. I did not know that. Oh my gosh. So that could have been another thing. I thought he was still married, because I mean, it's not like I follow up on the Mike Boogie Dr. Will thing. And I feel like I had done so many videos because things kept happening and then it seemed to calm down. Oh no. I bet I'd be shocked if they didn't say that the stress of this didn't come into play. Yeah. Thank you for that information. Sugar Spun Sister says Dr. Will Kirby filed for divorce from his wife, Erin Brodie, in 2021, nearly 4 years of marriage, and they are focused on co-parenting their 2 children. So does he have a new wife? Or did Mike Boogie contact the ex-wife? Now I got to look it up. So they have a son, Cash, who was born in 2010, and they have a daughter, Scarlett, who was born in 2012. The couple agreed to co-own their property in Los Angeles until their children graduate high school, and they will pay equally for household costs. Oh, that's nice. All right, Dr. Will. Let's see if he has a new wife or if he's living that single life. No. In 2011, let me share this with you guys. That makes me sad that this could have really affected his relationship. I'm just assuming this would affect anyone's relationship, So Erin Brodie was his wife from 2017 to 2022. In 2011, Kirby became engaged to Erin Brodie, who was a 2-time winner of the reality series For Love or Money. What? I feel like I watched For Love or Money. Was that the VH1 show? They were married in 2017. Kirby and Brodie have 2 children, their son. And so Cash was born in 2010. So they had, got engaged in 2011, but obviously were dating before then. So they had been together a really long time. And in 2012, like I said, their daughter, Scarlett, was born. Oh my goodness. What did she look like on For Love or Money? Let's look up Erin Brodie. Oops, not Darren. Erin Brodie. Does she have an IMDb? She must. Okay. Known for Love Lounge, Good Day Live. She was a co-host. Pyramid, For Love or Money. And that show, 15 women compete for the affections of Rob. Oh, I thought this was the VH1 show. Who the hell is Rob? In order to win either him or $1 million. Is this like Joe, regular Joe, or whatever that guy's name was? But Rob does not know about the money, and the women must not reveal the secret. Oh. What? Did you guys watch this show? I do not. I thought I remembered this show, but I don't think I do. What? So this was from 2003. So I was 23. For love, I always think for the love of money, gotta make that money, man. All right, let's see. Let's zoom in and look here. Oops. I don't zoom in on that. I don't remember the show. Let's see, Rob. Jolene, you're thinking of, I'm thinking of I Love Money. That shit was good until the guy that won I Love Money, or didn't he win it, or he was on it? And then he went on to be on that dating show to date that woman that was on Rock of Love. I forget her name, Megan, I think her name was. And then he ended up murdering his fiance or wife. So sad. And they found her in like suitcases or something. So then they got rid of all of those. That really was the demise of all those VH1 shows. Okay, let me see if I can. Here, let me take this down and look it up. Yes, I Love Money is what I'm thinking of. Oops. Stop doing that. No, I don't want to share. Leave me alone. I wonder why it's not working. Okay. That's the show I remember. Do you guys remember that? That was crazy though, when that guy schmurdered his significant other, and he had won that dating show with Megan. Oh, how scary for her too. And then they stopped doing those kind of shows, but VH1 had some really interesting reality shows that were very popular. I wonder how many seasons for the Love of Money TV show. Now I'm down a rabbit hole, you guys. So it had 4 seasons. Okay. And what channel was this shit on? Don't they have a they probably still don't have a website. Come on. Oh, it was on NBC. What the hell was I watching? Because I don't think I watched this, unless I just don't remember. And it's so 2003 that the picture is so blurry of the cast and the guy. Look at this. Okay. Let me share this with you guys. This is how blurry the image is. And this must be the Rob guy in the middle here. And Dr. Will's wife was on it. And or his ex-wife, and won it. And I had no idea. Let me see. Erin Brodie. And she's also an actress. And okay. Here is, she's beautiful. She's a beauty. So this is now, so I wonder if this is who Mike Boogie contacted, if he contacted Erin, since it doesn't look like Dr. Will is remarried. So it says in the Day in the Life of Erin Brodie, and this is from 2004. And this is when she had just done, I think, For the Love of Money. And here she is. That must be Rob. And Yeah, so in the first episode, Los Altos native Aaron Brodie and 14 others vied for a bachelor's affection. She won his heart, but when the producers made a last-minute offer, the bachelor or 1 million, she took the money and ran. So she's very intelligent, clearly. For the love of money, too, Brodie picked Chad Vigano from a field of 15. At the last minute, he was also offered 1 million, but in another twist, if he went for love, not money, Brodie would walk away with 2 million. Chad picked love, and a year later, they're still a couple. This is in 2004. She went on to marry and have children with Dr. Will, and then they got divorced. But though he hasn't become her telehubby yet. So then she won like $3 million in the course of a couple years. That's crazy. Let me jump in the comments and see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, I would think he contacted Aaron. Thank you, Michelle. Yes, please hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. You only remember, I remember Rock of Love, Flavor of Love, I Love Money, A Dating Show with Megan. What else was on VH1? Well, VH1 had Basketball Wives. Yeah, VH1 had a lot of stuff. The archive says marrying someone who went on a dating show for love or money sounds like a bad idea. I guess so. But I mean, they were in a relationship for a long time and they had children. So it was, even though they are divorced, it was pretty successful, Let's see. Oh, you remember Cammie? Yeah, she was on it twice, the first and second season. And it looks like there was 4 seasons. I don't remember the shows either, Joseph. And I'm surprised I wouldn't watch something like that. But there was that Average Joe, wasn't it? Where the guy pretended he was rich, but really he was a plumber or something. Which plumbers make good money. So yeah, he definitely can't date Kirsten living with his ex-wife. Maybe they just, yeah. I imagine he doesn't live there all the time, right? Yes, during the RHAP interview, he was telling his son mom was going to take him to his game and that said something to her. Oh, like recently? Angela? Interesting. Angela said they still live together, though. I heard him talking to her. But I wonder if sometimes he has like a side place where he could go because, God, that sounds like hell. I mean, I love that they're doing that for the kids and keeping that home there as that central point and where they have their friends and go to school. But living with your ex all the time, yeah, like Kira said, how are you going to, meet other people? But maybe you're not interested in that. Oh, he quit again. Kitty Mouse. Dr. Will said he quit reality TV when he was voted off Deal or No Deal Island. I watched quite a few episodes. I'm not caught up of Deal or No Deal Island with Dr. Will. And I just love that the new school non-gamer people, their reaction to him is like, oh my God, he's the worst. He's so cocky. He's horrible. And it's just funny. Because there is like, I think more of a kumbaya sense on these shows. And I don't know if it's because of the current climate because that's how I felt about Traitors. I still haven't done my roast and recap of the finale and reunion, but I did a live watch party. And when I watched live, I thought the ending was boring. I didn't like that all 4 faithfuls were like, green, let's all share the money. But then I saw that Dylan Efron saying we're all in this together, like his brother, Zach from High School Musical. And there is something to be said for a time when we're looking at, some of the most greedy, money hoarding people running the country, that you have 4 people who are like, we got this far together. Let's fucking all just take our share. And you're like, that is kind of beautiful. So now I'm on the fence. But when it comes to like gaming, I was hoping to see, I guess last season, the end with CT and Trishelle and how they, the reveal to MJ, that was just, and cutting her, that was such interesting TV. But let's see. Yeah, I thought he was fun on Dondi. I love Parvati. Oh my God, that Australian Survivor guy. I don't even know if he's still on Dondi, but he was pretty cool. the episodes I saw, I don't know if it changed from them, but him and Parvati being like a mom and dad alliance. Because at first I'm like, who is this guy? Because I've never watched Australian Survivor. And then I was like, oh, okay, I get the appeal. I get it. Andrea says it might be the kids live there full time and the parents are a week in, week out. You would think that would be better. So let's see. Yeah, they were like, who is this old man and what's the deal? There was no risk. Dr. Will went in a totally different game, and it was only the Australian Survivor guy and Parvati and maybe a couple people who knew the lure of Dr. Will, the lore, but so many of them were like, loser. Yeah, last year's Traders was so savage to see this year everyone like, let's split the money. I was like, oh. Watching it, I'm like, boring, bring a book. But, thinking back, there's something nice about that. Dreadful Ruby says, I'm very interested to see if Parv and David's friendship plays a role on Austria versus the world. Is Parvati on Survivor Australia? I need to watch this. David's still there. I liked him. And I was like, oh, I get the appeal of him. He's cute. Yeah, they were in Alliance last I watched. Angela said the girl he voted out on Dondi, he gave her a job once the show ended so she could fulfill her dream of moving to California. Dr. Will did? That's amazing. What girl was it? I'm trying to remember. Yeah. He seems super cool. I was like, I gotta watch this Australian Survivor because wasn't Sandra on it and her daughter Nina, who went on to win Anonymous or the Anonymous or whatever that show was? It was so funny watching one of the players describe Survivor to David. Oh, I saw that episode. He's like, oh, yeah. They're like, yeah, it's like Survivor. They're really cutthroat or something. And he's like the Survivor Australian legend. I think you would have to watch. I'll have to ask my buddy Sarah from Nerdtainment because I know she watched those, and her and I watched Australian Big Brother and covered it one season. And we watched it from, I think, the Australian website for the show when we were watching Big Brother using a VPN. So I assume you can watch it with a VPN as long as you know the website or where it's airing. Dreadful says, I don't ever want to see 4 people win a space. It's just boring. Four people's too many. I feel like it would have been cool if Dylan and Gabby would have cut Dolores and Ivor. Sorry, Dolores. Okay, Australia versus the world is this summer. I'm going to have to figure out where the hell to watch this. Graphics says you have to get into Trader Season 3. So good. Spacing out the episode sisterhood. Yes, if anyone hasn't gotten into it, get into it. Yes, Dr. Will, did he? Oh, her name is MG. Which one is MG? I'll have to look it up. Yes, Sari was on Survivor Australia. I got to get with it with Survivor. I haven't even watched the latest seasons of Survivor. I'm not watching this season of Survivor. Dr. Will came off as a really good guy during his interview with Rob. I like Dr. Will. I feel like Dr. Will knows his act. You know what I mean? Like he knows his TV villain persona, but in real life, just he once upon a time did me a solid personally. So I'm partial to him, but I think he seems like a nice guy. That bravado and that braggadocious thing, that's like a character that he's created. Just like how Paris Hilton created a character with like the baby voice. That's hot. And then you hear her real voice and you're like, oh shit, Paris. That's so different. Anna says, is Dondi like Survivor? I kind of hold the fact I hate New Era Survivor against Dondi. When I was watching it, it was very entertaining. It's like Survivor that they're on an island and that there are missions, but it's not like Survivor in that they're always eating really good food and they sleep in like these kind of tent cabin type. They're not cabins, but like these almost like they're glamping. And they do have, toilets. I don't know if they might just be, I don't know if they're flush or if they're compost, who knows? It is an island, so I would imagine it's maybe like outhouse type situation. Let's see. Care Bear says, yo, Gabby called out that they didn't. Yes, on Watch What Happens Live, Gabby called it out to Andy Cohen. She's like, I just want my money. I love Gabby. Gabby is amazing. Gabby signed with a big management team. Was it UTA? Oops. Yeah, she signed with UTA. So deadline. I mean, that's a big deal. Gabby's going to be doing. She just got married. Her wife is a stand-up comedian. Shout out to lady stand-up comedians. I'm partial to them. But the Traders winner, Gabby Windey, I never even knew her last name, signs with UTA. I should close some of these. My computer is being slow. Okay, let me close this too. So, Windey is a television personality that first captured the hearts of audiences, and this is according to Deadline, one of the first 2 co-leads on ABC's The Bachelorette. She would later compete in Dancing with the Stars, finishing as a runner-up. I didn't remember that. Gabby's signing comes after her stint at the castle, the setting for Peacock's The Traders, where she won the grand prize alongside the faithful contestants Dylan Efron, Ivor Mountbatten, and Dolores Cantina. The reality TV personality also hosts her podcast Long-Winded with Gabby Windey, which she's so funny, where she engages listeners with her signature humor and candid storytelling. Before entering the spotlight, Gabby pursued dual careers as an ICU nurse. I did not know that. More reasons to love her. And a Denver Broncos cheerleader. I mean, what a life. You're like, I guess I'm just really smart and also really attractive and athletic. So I can either be an ICU nurse or I can be be an ICU nurse or be a Denver Broncos cheerleader. Her commitment to frontline healthcare work during the Panakukin earned her the prestigious Pop Warner Humanitarian Award in 2021, making her the first woman and NFL cheerleader to receive that honor. Gabby, get it, girl. Gabby's charm has captivated audiences who tune into her television appearances. Her wit shines on her long-winded podcast, and a clip of her latest episode where she takes some jabs at Elon Musk. You guys, I have that clip. It's so good. Let me play it for you. It's really good. I have it. Okay, let me upload it real quick. Let me make sure I have enough room here to do it. I think I do. I think I have enough room. It was her Elon Musk clip is really good. Okay, it should be on my desktop. Let's see. Smash that like if you haven't already while you wait for this hilarious clip. Not that one. That's just her. Okay, here we go. Right, of course. They're like, you have to delete some stuff. Why? Why are you making me delete things? I don't want to. StreamYard it sucks. Does anyone have another streaming? What the heck is going on out there in my streaming thing they use to go live that they like? Because I am over StreamYard. They're too expensive, and the changes they're making are not helpful, according to me. All right, it's uploading now. Oh, I'm going to play it. It's funny. Bachelorette didn't do her personality justice. It never does. I feel like Bachelorette never does. She was great, but it's not the show to highlight how funny she is. No, because it's like, let's pretend we're going to fall in love. I've never really been very into The Bachelor, so... Okay, as we get ready for it, we'll play one of my favorite songs by one of my least favorite guys.
Sun on your skin, 6 a.m. and I've been watching you sleep. And honey, I'm so afraid you're gonna wake up and say that you should probably leave.
The sun on your skin. Okay, sorry, I had to do that to you guys. All right, here's Gabby's Elon Musk clip. I saved it right when I saw it because I'm like, this is so good, it has to go in the soundboard.
There's a toddler running our country. He has spit up on his t-shirt, his belly hanging out, walking around knock-kneed. He has no balance, no equilibrium, and he needs a chainsaw. What in the production company is fulfilling your request to have a chainsaw on stage while you speak at some kind of a summit? Oh, and make sure there's a chain in it. I want everyone to be afraid. And women, don't come near, because you're going to get sewn. I want a baby with you. I want a baby with you. You IVF. You surrogate. You bend over. He's Oprah. And you get a baby, baby, baby. He's the kind of guy with the personality thing that makes you want to sow your wild oats. And I'm not just talking about a few. No, he wants to infiltrate the whole population. So you don't know if you're your cousin or not and what kind of baby you're going to procure. How many heads will it have? 10 fingers and 10 toes on one arm, maybe. So now you have 40 digits. What are you going to do with that? Play the piano, I'm sure.
What are you going to do with that? Play the piano, I'm sure. Oh my God. Gabby has such a bright future ahead of her. She's so freaking entertaining. Shout out to Gabby. Follow her on Instagram. I think it's Gabby.Windey. I think Windey. And with that, you guys, that's a great way to end this live. I'm going to come back. I have so many things I want to talk about, and I have more edited videos I'm putting out. Did anyone catch? Okay, 2 things I have to tell you guys. Okay, 2 secrets. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. You guys promise? Everyone put your promise in the chat. All right? Or if you are a member here on YouTube, then put the baby door emoji in the chat so I know that you guys aren't going to tattle on what I'm going to tell you. Okay. Okay. It's a digital NDA. So yesterday I got an alert that Sandra Diaz-Twine, Queen Stays Queen, from Survivor, Traders, everyone's favorite, was live. And they're doing the same thing as like the Big Brother people are doing, where they're doing some kind of Survivor cruise, I think. And so they were going live talking about that, like, hey, use your tax money and come on a cruise with all these Survivor players. And they're listing the Survivor players. And Carolyn was on there with her with 2 other gentlemen, Q and maybe another guy that I hadn't seen their season, so I didn't know who they were. But you guys will probably know who they are. And Carolyn was going off about, like, will there be Republicans on this cruise? She said nobody wants to party with Republicans. And some people obviously got mad, and some people were like, girl, yes. And then she asked, is Sarah Lacina, is that her last name? Is Sarah Lacina still a Republican? And everyone's like, what? And then she found out Tony's a Republican, because Sandra said, I think the only Republican coming is Tony. And Carolyn was like, Tony's a Republican? She was like, I have to get back in my Carolyn. She was just going off and being like, Bob the drag queen, what? Girl, what? Tone, I don't feel so bad then for getting rid of him, girl. Tony's a Republican? What? Girl. Okay. So that was a little Miss Felicia. But she was going off on that, and then she was basically like, well, I don't feel bad for getting rid of him on Trader. So then they brought up Carson, the issue with Carson and her former podcast host and castmate on what you call it, Survivor, and what was going on with them. And she was like, you could tell she didn't want to talk about it, because they were like, well, Carson's supposed to come. And she's like, he won't come. He's not coming. Girl, he's going to cancel. Girl, Bob the drag queen, he's going to cancel. Carson's not coming. And they're like, oh, I don't know what happened with Carson. She's like, people just grow apart. They grow apart. Seriously? But she was just, being her Carolyn open self. And she's like, whoever live this is, don't save it. Don't save it. Whose is this? And they're like, Sandra's. And Sandra's like, do people save Instagram lives? She's like, yeah, I've saved some. I don't want this out there. So I screen recorded it. And so I'll post the funny parts for you guys. So I'm just editing through it right now, because I was like, holy shit. It was pretty good. So that's one thing. So look for that hopefully later tonight. And she talked about on Parvati's pod. I know she was excited to be on Parvati's pod. Is that episode out? Well, obviously it's out. Dreadful, because you've seen it. I don't even know what Parvati's podcast is. I got to look that up. Secondly, remember, speaking of Carolyn, remember that video I did recently where I talked about how I think that during Traders, something might have happened where Tom Sandoval possibly led Carolyn on, played into like some flirty nature. Maybe there was a little illicit smoochies or something going on, which would explain Carolyn being so like diehard Tom Sandoval and all those rumors that Chanel Ayan, the tweet she posted about someone having a crush on Tom Sandoval, and she was basically explaining Carolyn. And then Carolyn addressed it on her Patreon, and she seemed very offended. And she was like, I called her and I said, what are you talking about? Did Tom say something? Girl, what are you talking about? Did Tom say something? I thought that was sus, and we talked about it. And then at the reunion, Sam Spears, remember, he was like, Tom, Carolyn said she had a crush on you. And Tom was like, and this is Tom's MO, and you guys probably saw the video, right? Well, yes, was it yesterday? I woke up and noticed someone had been peeping my Instagram, and it's Tom Sandoval's girlfriend. And she liked some dog video content of mine from months ago. And I'm like, what would lead her over here? She don't know me. So then I'm thinking, is this some kind of LA sign? You know how LA people are. They're clever, the Hollywood peoples. Is she telling me something? Like, I see you, bitch. Don't talk about my man. Or is she saying, I see you, bitch. You are right about my man. And then I look, well, maybe is she watching my stories? She's watching my stories. And I have nothing against her. She's a lovely lady. And she rescues animals and helps rescue animals. So I like that. I wish a better man for her than Scandival. But I thought, oh, okay. So I looked to see if maybe they unfollowed each other. No, they're like traveling together right now. But she was peeping my Instagram. I don't know. I don't tell anybody. Okay. But I'm not sure. I was like, what is Vicki Lee Robinson doing over in little old me's? Over in my Instagram. And liking dog content right after I post this thing saying that I think your boyfriend was leading Carolyn on or flirting with her, because that's what he does. And it kind of coincides with this breakup, this very public breakup they had in December. It was really quick, December 16th, and Page Six and picked up on it. And she put out at the time, Tom Sandoval's girlfriend, Victoria Lee Robinson, she put up a story, and we talked about it on No Offense, All Offense, where she was like, you guys were right about Tom. Like, basically, like, he's a cheater and he loves his best friends. And I'm thinking, did Carolyn become one of his close friends? Are they close friends now? She's talking like they're very close. They called each other ride or dies. Did something happen? Now, I know they all went live together, so maybe Tom talked her out of it, but I was like, that's a lot of dots to connect. I never know what to think when these reality people come over to my page. Like when Joe Wenberg came over and tried to love bomb me when I did some impression videos about her during Vanderpump Rules. So I don't know what Vicky's intention was. Maybe she enjoyed the video. I can't imagine, though, that she enjoyed it if she believes her boyfriend, Tom Sandoval. I can't imagine she would enjoy someone like me who thinks her boyfriend is trash. But she's great, and I wish better for her. But maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's a sign? Was she telling me something like, I see you, bitch? Don't mess with my man. I'm going to be the one to bring it to you. Here's a little advice for you. Find your own man. Like, what do you think she's saying? Right? How freaking wild if it were true. Truly, Tom Chi. Oh, and then, okay. You guys. Then last night, I was like, someone liked my video with the blue check mark, and you never know anymore with the blue check mark, if it's someone who paid for it or whatever. No, it's a legit blue check mark. And someone I follow who is the EVP of PR and talent for Bravo, NBC Universal, E! News, like a really cool lady with a big job, followed me and liked the video about Tom, probably leading Carolyn on, and maybe there's something more there. What are they telling me? My Instagram has so many mysteries. I was like, why is this like super important lady over at Bravo and NBC Universal? Why would she follow me? Nobody me. And then she liked my video about Tom Sandoval being a liar and the toxic men of Bravo? And Victoria Lee Robinson, Tom Sandoval's girlfriend, is peeping my Instagram stories and liking my dog content, not my content talking about how he's a dog. Am I onto something? Am I going to be dead? What's going to happen, you guys? So I'm just like, yesterday was crazy. I already wasn't feeling good. And then Graphics was the first person I messaged because I was on Instagram in the morning and I'm like, what's Victoria Lee Robinson doing liking my stuff and watching my stories? Tom Sandoval's GF at like 1 a.m. Connect the dots. La, 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 la. I don't know, you guys. It could all be coincidence. Somehow. But I don't know. The universe is amazing. Yeah, maybe she's tired. I don't know. She's pretty smart, so I'm sure she is tired of the Tom Sandoval redemption arcs. Right? But I'm like, so an executive with PR and talent liked it. And his girlfriend came over to like my dog rescue stuff. But I'm sure she would only have found my Instagram through the fact that I do these videos about how your boyfriend sucks. How your boyfriend sucks. All right, so that's the tea. I was gonna save it for members, but everybody deserves it. But don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Right? Freaky. I just have a sixth sense for these things. I predict some of these relationships and dynamics, and I know how these toxic men on TV work. Dreadful Ruby says, watching this whole redemption arc for Tom and knowing what narrative she likely bought when it came to Ariana, I can see her being hesitant to deal with this. Oh, it's true. Yeah. Max says, yep, you got the story right. So I don't know. Put it in the comments after the video post what you think, but in code of what you think these situations, about these situations I shared with you. Because there were quite a few people that came in the comments and were very mad at me. They were like, Joleen, someone said, Joleen, this is low even for you about the Carolyn and Tom Sandoval video. And I'm like, what did I do that was low? What did I do? I'm trying to think, what low things do I do? Am I just not self-aware at all this low stuff? But people were like, how dare you? This is so wrong. I'm like, I just said it's speculation. I'm just thinking out loud. Okay, penis. You're in trouble, girl. That's kind of, I kept going down to hype my husband, Chell. He was studying. And I was like, Chell, what do you, and he's like, I don't know. I'm trying to study. I'm like, okay, I know you're trying to like study and you're going to be an ICU nurse and saving people's lives soon. And that's important and everything. But this is also important. And he's like, not really. Gabby says she knows you're right. I don't know. I feel like, eventually all the women of the world will come together and we'll have a Hello Kitty tea party and toast our excellence and down with all of the toxic men. So, we know. We know. Yes. Sugar Spun Sister says, we know Sandoval. So the speculation has some merit, right? Yeah. I'm just connecting some things. Anyways, okay, I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to my super chatters today. Ken, Big Brother Bry, Artist Fleetwood, Christina, and we can talk more about this in the members. I think I'm going to do a members tomorrow. So it'll be for Patreon, 2 of the Patreon tiers, and then also all of the YouTube members. So I will set that up and you'll get notified. You'll get a notification of the members live. And hopefully Steven and Jamie B can join us and we can Maybe more will happen tonight. Maybe more people will follow me and start liking my Vanderpump Traders conspiracy theory videos that have some merit. Okay. Show some remorse. I am. Oh, that's my favorite.
Have some remorse. Have some sensitivity.
Linda, that'll never get old. That'll never get old. All right. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Hit that like, leave a comment in code, okay, for what we just talked about. I'm not really good at winking. But you know. Okay. You guys are all beautiful pumpkin spice babies, and always remember to enjoy yourself because it's later than you think. Bye.
If you like what you